welcome back to the channel. I'm Erica and this video is the next one in the series for the bustle gown. So this one is the petticoat. I am using TB, which is Truly Victorian's 170. So that one. I will be doing, pretty sure I did this one. I'm gonna have to go verify, but I think I did that one. Anyway, that is next. This ended up being a one-day make, if I'm remembering correctly. I haven't quite looked at all the footage, but I'm pretty sure I finished this in one day. So I was very pleased with how quickly this particular part of the project went. And yeah, let's jump on into it. All right, petticoat. I've got my pattern out. I've already cut out pattern pieces. This is TV 170. And I will be doing view 1 for the early bustle. So I have these cut out. It's going to be a lot of fabric. I've got this. I just washed it and ironed it. I do not know if it's enough. If it's not, I do have this. So I knew if I went digging, I probably would be able to locate something. So I found this, yet another. I think it was in the same bundle as that other fabric I just showed. Obviously, there is a blue tint to it, and I am doing white. However, this is roughly about 305 inches, and this says 337. That is close enough for me, because I'm also trying to use random things up. But I don't like the blue tint. I mean, it's a lovely blue tint, but it's not what I'm going for. So the next thing I'm going to do for it while I cut out the rest is I'm going to let this slip in some bleach. And I'm going to bleach it white and get it as white as I can. And that will be my ruffle. And it is already serged on that end, so I don't have to worry about fraying. I mean, the ends here where it was cut are, but I'm not too concerned. And it has a little lace. I think it will be a lovely little ruffle, and that will use up yet another stash. Obviously it was in the thrift store. Like, you see this tape? I don't even know how old this stuff is. This masking tape is so brittle and so in the process of disintegrating. It's been on there for quite a while. So yeah, I'm going to use it up. Alright, everything is cut out and ready to start sewing. So I've got the 4 of these pieces, the waistband, there's 2 of this, 2 of one of these, and 1 on the fold of the other one. The first thing is to mark and sew the darts in the front and the side front pieces. So the front is cut on the fold. There's 2 side fronts. Once all the darts were sewn in place, then I had to just sew all those top skirt portion pieces together. I did these as felled seams, so it was right sides together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then brought it over, trimmed after I pressed the seams to one side, trimmed the bottom layer of that, and then turned over the top layer of that to the underside to fell them down. And I did just fell it with machine because I did not want this to take forever, and doing it by hand would have taken forever. And so I just did it by machine. Since it's a petticoat, it's going to be an undergarment. A line of stitching did not matter to me. And this was done on all the seams around except for the center back seam, which had the opening for putting it on and off. So I felled those to each side, which I'll show. Okay, so the next thing is to get all of the flounce pieces sewn together. So there's 4, because I'm doing view 1, so there's 4 on the fold. These are not small pieces, so this is a lot. So it's going to be all of these seams, side seams being sewn together, and then I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that one and spend the time to fell them all down. So I don't see the necessity in videoing all that. That is just a whole lot of straight seams and then cutting and then more straight seams, and that's going to take me a while. I will say one other thing that I need to do before I start that is mark my line for all the tucks. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines here for the tucks, and those are going to go across the entire width of all 4 of these pieces sewn together in one massive giant loop. Okay, so I want to show you how I marked this, because I love it when I find little tips that helps, and I hope this helps. So these tuck lines are really long. They're going all the way across. This is where half of that one piece is, and there's 4. So it's that much more, and then there's 4 of these pieces all around. And these tuck lines go literally all around the entire thing. So what I did is I marked the one side from here at the fold before I sewed them all together. And then on each piece. And then I sewed them all together, did the seams, felled the seams, and now I am laying it out and using the fact that the lines stopped here on the piece I marked before I sewed them, and then here, and matching those 2 up, it covers right over that seam beautifully. I don't have to worry about, when I was sewing them together, matching all 5 of these lines up on both sides of every piece. And then chalking the line, and I am not left-handed, so this is fun. And ta-da! We have 5 very long lines that are continuous without any jaggedness all the way around. Each tuck was folded on my chalk line and then sewed from that chalk line down at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then they were all pressed down towards the hem of the petticoat. Whew! All the tucks are done. With my fast sewing machine, that took me like 45 minutes. I can't imagine trying to do that by hand. But here we go. We have 5 tucks. Now I've got to go iron it all out. Also, will take me a little bit, but it's gonna look really good. For the ruffle that attaches to the upper skirt, I just shoved it up under the presser foot as I'm showing as I went around the whole thing, and I also did this for the ruffle as well. Okay, it's gathered it on. I did have to let it out in a couple of places because I had gathered it slightly too big, but it was ever so slightly. Considering, I don't know, I'll have to look at it. I have an absolute ridiculous amount of this trim. And I mean ridiculous amount. So this is just one of the two of this size that I have. And I want to start using it. It's pretty simple, and I like it. So I'm thinking I'm going to sew a layer of that down there. This is the section that's going to be the bottom ruffle, and as I already stated at the beginning, you know, this edge is already finished, this edge is already finished, so all I had to do was right sides together, sew the two ends together. I filled that down, and then just like the flounce, I'm going to gather it as I sew because this is a ridiculously long piece of fabric. Alright, y'all, just due to the fact that it was literally rinse and repeat of gathering the top ruffle and sewing it on to gathering, or the flounce to the ruffle, I didn't video any of that. I got in the groove, I got about done, I got all the way around this entire ridiculous hem before I realized I ran out of bobbin about halfway through. I might have been close to tears after going around it for gathering, going around it for each and every tuck, going around it for gathering, going around it for sewing. I have the waistband left. That's what's next. And I am glad this is done. For the waistband, the ends were ironed in, and then that one edge was ironed up at a 1/2 inch into the wrong side of the waistband. Then the waistband is pinned right sides together to the front of the petticoat, which this particular style, the petticoat is flat in the front and all the gathers are at the back. So I lined it up the front, gathered the back, pinned it all down, sewed it all down, flipped the waistband over so that that raw edge is completely encased inside the waistband, sewed it back down, and then ran the twill tape through it to form the waistband, and she was done. And here's the petticoat. I'm gonna love it. I can already tell you, I love it. I love the shaping that this time period gives. I love how this turned out. Absolutely love that it was a one-day make. This did not take long because this is not what I wanted to take a long time.